Yo, what is up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with another quick video tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how I made some really interesting dub effects for this deep dub track I'm working on. Now, as I say with usually all of my videos, this is not genre specific, so please don't think I don't make deep dub, I don't like deep dub, so this has nothing to do with me. That's not the case. This technique can be used for whatever genre you're making. It can be used if you're in a rut and can't find something or make something manually and you're just looking for creative solutions. I'm really impressed with what we're about to go through here, and it's really versatile. You got a lot of control, and that has to do with the SKYE Dynamics plugin itself. So before we get into the actual tutorial bit where I show you how to use it creatively, I just want to run through SKYE Dynamics as a plugin on whole, because this is an incredible dynamics plugin. Down here at the bottom, you can see that I've got an expander. This is a downward expander. I've got a compressor, you can turn that on, and then I have a limiter as well. So really it's a 3-in-1. And it's really nicely priced because Signum audio algorithms are some of the best out there. Trust me when I say, if you need something to control your dynamics, definitely check out SKYE Dynamics by Signum Audio. Links, as always, in the video description. So just real quickly, we do have sidechain functionality per dynamics algorithm. So I can send a sidechain to the expander, the compressor, or the limiter. You just do that by turning it on. It's got a nice little animation there. I'm actually not using the compressor for this, but you can turn those on. And as you flip through, they all have essentially the same parameters. So if I come back in here, we've got a input gain, we've got a threshold, a ratio, and attack. We have some attack curve options from linear, neutral, transparent, smooth, and pumping. We have a release mode we can set to auto, and then we have sort of the reactivity multiplier over here, or we can switch it to manual. I'm going to leave it on auto. Another really cool thing too is we can decide to just react to the left input or the right input of the stereo channel. And then if we want to compress the left or the right or both. But outside of just the standard way to use this plugin, i.e. downward expansion, compression, and limiting, I want to show you how I used it creatively to get this effect. Let me jump into the project here. And if I come up here and just solo this channel with Hive on it. So that's the sound. This is the sound without SKYE Dynamics. And that's just a patch inside of Hive. Now, there's a bunch to this, and I'm going to try to walk you through it as best as possible. I actually did the same technique here and just bounced this audio because I really liked it. It was with a different thing, but anyway, you can get so much done with this. We're getting kind of sidetracked. So let me show you how to set this up and get things going. Yeah, it's just so cool. So let me show you what I got. First thing I have in the project is scalar. I had a drum loop and a bass loop. The bass was in D minor. So what I did was came in here and chose a chord progression, and then I forced it into D minor by using this right here. And then I took that, dragged it down here, right click so it'll play through those chords. And then I sent those chords into Hive. And the reason why I did that, even though the final result here isn't really melodic, it does have some tonal information there. I did it because I originally had some pads, which can do the same thing, and I'll show you that. So that's why scalar is there. Next thing I did was I put SKYE Dynamics on there. And in fact, let me go ahead and just erase SKYE Dynamics and redrop it on the channel, just so I can show you the setup process. So the first thing is we are going to be using sidechain input. So I want to take the sidechain from this percussion channel here. So it's channel 3, come into channel 3, open it up, and so that's what it sounds like. I can bypass the limiter and the compressor. I don't need to worry about them. I want to jump into the expander and I want to turn on sidechain. And as soon as I do that, you'll notice a third VU meter show up. Boom. And you can see it shoot up, and it shoots up when there's, the sound is playing on the clip there. So the next thing I want to do is adjust my threshold, my ratio, attack, and release until I have that audio allowing some information to pass through. So the way a downward expander works is that if it doesn't cross the threshold, it gets pushed down and isn't allowed to pass through the dynamics circuitry, or in this case, algorithm. Okay, so now, whereas this on Hive should just be always producing sound, it's only producing sound when the threshold is crossed, and for the rest of it, it pushes it down. It's sort of functioning like a gate at this point. Now we can adjust the attack and release. I also do have a reverb on there. This is what it sounds like without the reverb. Probably best to adjust your attack and release without the reverb on so you can really focus on the actual system. So I actually really dig a longer release just because of the nature of the sample we're working with. Let me turn that reverb back on. Now, the cool thing is we're set up now, okay? The cool thing about this is, one, I can jump into Hive and change. Let me go ahead and just favorite this just so I can come back. I'm on the Spectral 7 preset, and I'm inside of this thing called Loops Untuned. If I come in here and just choose like Glitch Therapy, it's just another way to get some cool sounds. And, you know, all of these presets are going to sound really good. So if I play that in the context of the track, I mean, that sounds really cool. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, but this is how easy it is now. Like that one probably work. So I might come in there and then favorite that as well. And let's just see what it sounds like without the SKYE Dynamics. And now with the SKYE Dynamics. Now keep in mind that it's a combination of two things, really. It's the combination of whatever patch we're using and whatever synth we're using. You don't have to use Hive. I love Hive. But I mean, I could even come into a bass if I wanted to and just load that up and see what that sounds like. Now, do remember that we're sending chord information, so maybe bass isn't the best. Maybe we can load up a pad instead. I just want to try something real quick. I'm kind of getting off track, but just to show you my workflow, like what I would do now is take that, because it's a dubby, I'd want to roll off the high end and essentially roll off the really low end because we've got sub bass, and then roll off the high end just because that's how dub works, essentially. So you can see, I hope, the possibilities here, and we haven't even changed what's triggering the SKYE Dynamics downward expander. So I'm going to come back into Hive again. Let's jump back into the Untune and just come back to the one I had. Cool. Now, what I was saying before, if I come into samples here, we can now put anything we want in here to essentially drive the rhythm of the downward expander to allow that audio through. Now, this really works with the track I've got going on, this sort of offbeat. You can see where it's happening towards the end of the bar, but really we can do whatever we want. So let's come in and choose that and see what it sounds like. So that's a little bit too on beat for me, but we could easily just take this and move it over. And, you know, this isn't perfect, but this is the deal. If you're struggling like I was to come up with a project that sounded really, really interesting, I mean, now all I need to do is just keep dragging samples in here. You know, drum loops probably aren't going to be the best just because of the format. I mean, I've already got my drums there, and I don't want those hits where it's really big velocity here. It's going to come right when my kick drum is. So it's really, by default, not going to work. But percussion, I find, works really, really. So we got some percussive loops right here. Something like this will probably work better with what we're trying to do. Can bring that over. We can also do something like slow it down so it happens a little less frequently. And then again, like this is the workflow of it. Come back and just choose another patch and see what that sounds like with that pattern now. Like even that one's working. I mean, I'm going to leave the tutorial there because I think that you get the gist of it. Just seeing what I've been doing here in this video, it really is all about that. And you don't have to use Hive, right? You can use whatever synth you have available to you. Really, once you've set it up, the sky's the limit on what you can do and what you can accomplish. And it's all driven by the downward expander inside of SKYE Dynamics from Signum Audio.